Okay, this is a video where I'm going to attempt to put insulation around this lower hose so it doesn't get melted and I lose all my coolant out on the trail somewhere, which would be a catastrophe. I guess what you'd have to do if you lost the coolant, you could ride the motorcycle till it got hot, stop, let it cool, ride it till it got hot, stop, let it cool, so on and so on, until you finally get to a road where they can find you and tow it back to Harley. And I'm looking at it right there. Tow it back to Harley and get a new hose or whatever you have to do, so and fluid and all that stuff. So pretty bad. I'll show you here in a minute. Pretty bad design flaw. What happens is it gets hot over time, and then it gets soft, and then it bubbles out, and then it melts. That's what I've been told. This is a brand new bike, so it's got a while to do that, but it's going to do something like that when you're in the trail and you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're just screwed. So that's when it's going to happen. So let's see if we can fix it. This heat shielding stuff from Design Engineering is supposed to be pretty good. I use it on my Cobalt to insulate the gas lines around the muffler, where they did the same thing. They couldn't put the muffler on the other side of the car. They had to put the gas lines going in the gas tank right by the muffler tailpipe. Who does that? Why would you do that when you got plenty of room to do it on the other side? Why would you do that? But they do. So I had to get new gas lines. What happened is they had insulation around them. Salt water got up there. They weren't stainless, they were carbon, and they rusted out, and my car was leaking gas all over the place. Could have caused a fire. Pure stupidity, if you ask me. When you have plenty of room to put the gas lines on the other side, or your exhaust tailpipe on the other side of the car, away from the gas lines. But who knows? So let's get busy with this. Here is the heat wrap for the Harley Pan America lower radiator hose. On the right side of the bike, if you're sitting on a bike looking forward, and the water line or water hose is right next to the exhaust pipe, the front cylinder. And here I cut this out and I made it 10 3/4. I think it'll work. It's not quite big enough to wrap around. There's some stuff on Amazon that makes it's 1.5 inch diameter. I don't know if it's as good as this stuff by Design Engineering, and I'm not sponsored by Design Engineering, but I might get that and check it out. One thing, when you cut this stuff, you want to staple the end, because this, or super glue it. I like to just staple it. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the staples? And staple it. That way it won't peel off. But what I'm going to do is I have some metal tie wraps, and I'm going to wrap it around and then metal tie wrap it to make sure it stays. Okay, here's the culprit right here. You can see exhaust pipe, hose. I got my finger in between it and it's actually pushing on the hose. Not a whole lot of room. It gets hot. It starts getting old. It gets hot. They say around, some of them saying 10,000 miles. It gets hot. It bubbles out. Hits this, burns a hole in it. Fluid leaks out. You're walking, or you're stuck, or you're calling somebody, or you're going to ride the bike, let it cool down, ride the bike, let it cool down, go through that. So we're going to try to wrap that heat shrink around there. There's not a lot of room. Try to get that heat shrink around, or not heat shrink, heat shield around this hose all up through here. Let's see if I can get it on there. I'm not going to video doing that. I'm just going to, it's self-explanatory. I'm just going to show you the video after I'm done. All right, there it is. I wanted it to wrap all the way around that pipe, around the hose, all the way up to the radiator, but I can't get it to do that. I'm going to have to find a different type of shielding to do that. It would look better, but that will keep it from melting the hose. I think I use those. You can get those metal tie wraps from Harbor Freight, actually, they're pretty good, or from Amazon or whatever, but those are metal stainless steel tie wraps holding it on there. So we'll see how that works. Until the next video, ride safe.